Hey, welcome back to Life with Al. I'm Susan, and I really hope that all of you are taking care of yourselves and staying healthy. I know this is a pretty scary times we're living in right now. But what I wanted to do today is talk about something that used to be, when I was in the field as a social worker, it was my very most favorite thing to do. My very most favorite thing to do. That's an accurate statement. And it has now become my mom's very most favorite thing to do. And so that is reminiscing. And let me just give you a little spoiler alert, because I told you on my, if you saw my inaugural video, that I wouldn't be sharing pictures of my mom, or she wouldn't be in my videos, just because she was self-conscious of her appearance, just losing so much weight. She doesn't really look like the Gladys, that most people know and remember. And so I'm certainly honoring that. But I have found another way that I can share sweet Gladys, and you can see her at the end of the video, and you are actually going to hear from her own lips one of her Gladys gems. In fact, this is a new one that I just heard myself. So I'm excited to share that with y'all. But in talking about life review or reminiscent therapy, I used to kind of roll my eyes as a social worker because everything had to sound clinical when we charted. We had to, we couldn't say we just chit-chatted or we just talked about their past or reminisced. No, we had to facilitate a therapeutic life review, or we had to guide reminiscent therapy. And you know what? I probably shouldn't be minimizing that because, we all got our degree and master's for a reason to learn how to be counselors. So I don't mean to minimize that, because we really did ask selective questions, pointed questions, and learned how to do positive reframing and make sure that we were validating them in such a way that they always left that time spent reminiscing, feeling really good about themselves. So I want to share some of those things. But I will tell you, I had already decided I wanted to talk about this. And then yesterday, I read a book that I'm going to put a link to in my description because everybody needs to go out and get it. It's by Vicki Nolan Fitch. And I just met her not long ago, not in person, but we're becoming little phone buddies because she is just a wealth of knowledge. I am learning so much from her. She is a certified dementia practitioner or consultant. I'll have to check her title, but she is one smart lady. She's been doing dementia care for many, many, many years. So she has a book, Dementia with Grace, and it's on Amazon. I'll put the link to that in my description. And she is just amazing. So in her book, she said something yesterday. Actually, she wrote it a long time ago. I read it yesterday. She said it to me yesterday. And I'm just going to read it because I don't want to mess up this quote. So what she said, gotta scroll down. Hold on. Okay, what she said was, we can't fix the part of them that has lost the I know, but we can connect to the part of them that says I am known. We can't fix the part of them that has lost the I know. I mean, we know that. Sadly, their memories are going. They often don't know the day. They don't know what's going on. Sadly, they get to the point to where they don't know us. So we can't fix the part of them that has lost the I know. But we can connect to the part of them that says, I am known. So just having that deeper spiritual, emotional connection to where that person feels like, even though they can't call our name, they know that we're someone who values them and loves them and knows them. That makes me want to cry. We can connect with them in a way that lets them know they are known. And that, to me, wraps up the whole point of reminiscent therapy, life review in a nutshell. So in a clinical setting, they're going to do a whole social history. And Vicki actually, in her book, she outlines tons and tons of questions that we can ask when we're doing this with our loved one. And as they lose their memories, obviously that gets harder, but we all know that the short-term memory goes long before the long-term memory. And I'll give you an example. Today my mom woke up and she said she had to go to the grocery store to get a turkey because it was Thanksgiving, and she was all upset because she had to get her dressing made. I'm not going to go into the details of that because that's not the point. The point is, after that, I got out some photo albums to try to redirect her. But she was talking in detail about the pictures and who was in them, and they just sparked different memories. So just know that even if your loved one is in the middle stages, they can still do this. And if they're in the later stages where they're nonverbal and can't communicate, we can still look through those pictures. Hopefully we know them well enough to where we can tell the stories to them and to others, even after they lose the ability to do that. But anyway, some of the questions that I really like to ask are things like, you know, what is your happiest childhood memory? Or, you know, what were your school days like? You know, how many people were in your classroom? You know, what was your favorite thing to learn about? When did you get your first kiss? Was that with my daddy? Because I found out just recently she had a little love triangle going on. I didn't even know it. And you know, even if some of the information they're giving us, if we think, okay, no, I know that's not accurate or factual, it doesn't matter. We still validate them because, you know, as long as it's keeping them in a happy place. I will tell you, one time I was doing this with a sweet German lady who was on hospice. She didn't have dementia, but she was on, I think, for congestive heart failure. Anyway, irrelevant. She was telling me about being in Germany during World War II. And she was talking about how her mother had hid Jews in her basement. And I was just in awe of all this. And then her daughter comes behind her to where I can see her, and, you know, the patient couldn't. And she shook her head and she said, no, that did not happen. And I don't know if it did or not. She certainly gave a lot of detailed really painted the picture, making me believe it was real, but it didn't matter. Maybe she had read it in a book, maybe she had just seen that around her, or maybe, you know, her daughter didn't know her whole history. Who knows? But she enjoyed it, and that's all that matters. So other questions that you can ask is, you know, if they're married, what was your wedding day like? I often ask, what do you feel like your greatest accomplishment was? And sometimes if someone does bring up what they may perceive as a failure, or if it was a true tragedy or loss, it's real important. Now I know if you're doing this not with someone with memory loss or dementia, it's therapeutic to do that. You have to work through those things. But specifically with dementia patients, I always keep it positive, because this isn't a time to be digging deeper and trying to get resolution with things. And so if they go there, I typically try to validate, I'm amazed that you lived through that. Wow, you are such a resilient soul. Or, wow, I would like to think I would have your strength if I ever faced that. And just let them know that we respect them, which is true, for making it through, you know, different losses and tragedies in life, and then immediately redirecting and going to a question that would make them more joyful. You know, so anyway, I'm not going to go on with examples about that. You can go online and just search up Life Review, get a list of really good questions, just to spark that conversation. You know, I mentioned that, you know, it's great to use photo albums to do that. And for those of you whose loved one may be in a facility, I'm sure a lot of y'all already have this, but my mom, and she made this probably, my dad, actually yesterday was the anniversary when he had passed 16 years ago, and this was way before that. So this was probably over 20 years ago. The Alzheimer's Association was giving out these little purple books. You know, that's the Alzheimer Association color. For Alzheimer's awareness, but she made this little book for my dad. You know, it says, "This is my story," and then, I don't know if you can see it, it goes on to talk about his family, his wife, his children, his grandchildren, and then just all kinds of memories, trips. And she kept this in his room there so that when staff came in, they could sit and go through that with him. Because at that point, he was at a point to where he couldn't really share those things with them. But, you know, it was real important for her and for all of us that they knew who my dad was, because it's important for people to be known. But I think that's really valuable. And if you're, especially if you're quarantined, if your loved one rather is quarantined right now in assisted living or nursing home, maybe this would be a perfect time for you to get all those photos together and just kind of chronicle their life with the pictures and events, and maybe do a narrative to the side, just however you might want to do that. I find that now that I'm doing that with my mom here, I do a lot of that by myself, and it's so therapeutic. So that's just an idea for you. But what I want to do right now is let you hear from sweet Gladys in her own words.
So what did Mama do with your...
I said she did a wonderful job, because what she did, she made these, not that, I don't know who gave her the material for that suit, but the blouses like there, that was, she got material from D or Louise One working in the cotton mill, and would bring it home. Oops.
I'll get it back on. Yep, there you go. And then she made the,
And she would make our clothes for us. And, see these long curls here that hung down our back?
Right.
Okay, well, she would wash our hair on Saturday evening and shampoo it, and then she would roll that hair up down our back.
Can't imagine.
On socks. That was the same as yesterday.
Aw, time goes fast, doesn't it?
It does. Don't let it slip you by, Susan.
I know. That's a good lesson for all of us, everybody in the family, all the cousins, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Don't let it slip us by.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say?
Not tonight.
Maybe another day, right?
Another day. And another $1.
Okay.
So you got 2 of Gladys' gems. Don't let life pass you by, and another day, another $1. I just love that she threw that in at the end. But we were actually sitting and looking at photos while I was taping her and videoing her. But I decided to give y'all the pictures and hear her sweet voice. But anyway, I hope y'all continue to stay safe. My prayers go out to you, your loved ones in a facility. I am praying this is over soon, so you'll be able to go in and visit and give them a hug. I know y'all are counting down the days till that's the case. And for those of you who are in the home with your loved one, we're going to stay the course. It's presenting you challenges and requiring more patience, but we can do this. You all are awesome. We're all staying the course, whatever that course looks like to us. But anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this and you're able to go out and really reminisce and do a life review with your loved one. And get Vicky's book, because it will really help. And she's got so many other great pointers on how we can make the best of this time with our loved one and manage their behavior and keep them in as peaceful, calm place as possible, because that is all of our goal. For them to feel loved, to feel secure, to feel at home, and to feel known. So until next time, y'all take care.